So, can you copyright a colour? The short answer to the question is no, you can't copyright a colour. However, intellectual property law and intellectual property rights create various different situations where it's possible to exercise a certain amount of control over the use of colours, and I'm going to look at a couple of those situations now. So firstly, if we think about copyright, copyright isn't going to enable any copyright owner to exercise ownership or monopoly control over the use of the colour yellow, for example, in general. However, copyright does enable copyright owners to exercise control over the use of their creative works which are protected by copyright. So if a copyright work, a piece of art for example, incorporates or is dominated by the colour yellow, then yes, the copyright owner can, in the context of that work, exercise a certain control over the use of that colour. Similarly, if you think about design rights protect the appearance of products. And so while a design registration won't enable the owner of that right to prevent somebody else from using the colour red, if they've registered a product design which incorporates or is dominated by that colour, then yes, in that sense, the owner of that registered design can exercise some monopoly control over the use of the colour red in the context of that design. And then the third example that I would give would be in the context of brand colours, and in particular trademarks. So again, a trademark registration is never really going to enable the trademark owner to prevent someone from using the colour green in any and all circumstances. However, colours very often form a central part of logo registrations, for example, and so the owner of a trademark registration for a green logo can control the use of the colour green in the context of that logo. And finally, thinking about trademarks, it is possible for colours to be registered as trademarks. However, they don't enable the trademark owner to enforce that trademark or control the use of that colour in all circumstances. In order for the trademark to be, or for the colour to be registered as a trademark, it usually has to be limited to a particular Pantone or a particular shade. It has to be limited to use in relation to a particular product, and the way in which the colour is going to be used on that product also has to be specified as part of the registration. So in summary, no, it's not possible to copyright a colour, but it is possible through various different intellectual property rights to exercise some control over the way the colours are used. So if you're trying to think about the ways in which you can exercise some monopoly control over the use of colours, take advice from a specialist IP advisor.